Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, BBE, Beyond Borders and or Breaking Boundaries, and the E is for entertainment. Welcome. Thanks again for spending some time with me and checking out my channel. And like always, all my videos are just for educational and entertainment purposes only. So let's get into it. Again, I'm gonna ask AI or ChatGPT a few questions. This time, I'm asking some pretty interesting questions. Let's see how it goes. I want to kind of keep it as not a secret, but I want to not spoil it and see what happens. Maybe by the title, obviously you'll kind of know what I mean. But let's see what ChatGPT says. Hello there. I actually thought about some questions to ask you now.
Perfect. I'm all ears. Go ahead and fire away whenever you're ready.
Okay, so obviously you're an intelligent platform that you get a lot of information. My question, my question is, are you able, okay, I guess I'll word it this way. I'm trying to get, I'm trying to understand what my dog is trying to tell me.
Got it.
What's the best way to understand my dog and what it's trying to tell me?
That's a really interesting question. Usually it comes down to observing their body language, their sounds, and their behaviors over time. You can pick up on the cues they give, and that helps you understand what they need or feel. If you have any specific examples, I'm happy to help break them down.
Are you able to break down the barks of a dog?
To some extent, yes. Different barks, tones, and patterns can indicate things like excitement, alertness, anxiety, or even a need for attention. It's not always an exact science, but with practice and familiarity, you can definitely get better at interpreting what your dog is trying to communicate.
I got you. And since we're on the subject, is there any research out there that's already that this is being looked into? Not just dogs, but just any animal?
Research on animal communication. For instance, the Earth Species Project uses AI to help decode how animals communicate, and other studies look into how different species like dolphins or primates convey meaning. It's a fascinating and growing field.
Oh, I mean, what you just said was pretty fascinating. I have a question. Based on that research, have they uncovered anything, or have they been able to translate, if that's even the right term, anything an animal or a dog has said?
Yeah, it's definitely a work in progress. For example, there have been some promising studies with primates and dolphins where researchers have managed to identify patterns and even some basic vocabularies. With dogs, there's been progress in understanding things like specific barks or signals for certain needs, but it's still more of an interpretive science than a direct translation. There's definitely a lot more to explore.
What has been interpreted so far?
In terms of dogs, researchers have found that certain barks or growls can indicate excitement, alertness, or even anxiety. Some studies have also looked into how dogs use body language in combination with vocalizations to convey their feelings. For other animals like dolphins, researchers have decoded certain clicks and whistles that indicate specific messages or social interactions. It's definitely fascinating and still evolving.
So besides body language, I guess my question is, have they been able to interpret any specific barks into anything that the dog's trying to say?
Yeah, there have been some interesting findings. For example, researchers have identified that certain types of barks can signal excitement, like a high pitched, repetitive bark when a dog sees something familiar or fun. Other barks, especially lower pitched ones, can indicate something more serious, like a warning or a sense of threat. There's also research into how dogs use different sounds to communicate their needs, like wanting to play, needing to go outside, or even just seeking attention. It's definitely a growing area of study.
I got you. That is pretty interesting. And obviously, well, you're AI, but we all seen those videos where people use the word park or outside or food, and you can see the dog get excited. Um, so obviously, based on that, they pretty much understand what certain words mean, right?
Exactly. Yeah, dogs can definitely learn to associate specific words with actions or objects, and that's a form of communication in itself. They pick up on the tone, the context, and the repetition, so over time they understand what those words mean. It's pretty amazing how well they can learn and adapt.
I got you. And I want to stay on the subject of that. So on this in this research or any other research, have they discovered or is anything out there that insinuates or that connects different animals being able to communicate with each other, not just dogs with dogs and so on and so forth?
Absolutely. That's a really cool area of study as well. There have been observations of interspecies communication. For example, in some ecosystems, different animals have been observed responding to each other's calls, like birds and mammals alerting each other to predators, into how certain species like elephants or primates can understand signals from other animals as well. For instance, elephants can respond to the calls of different species to gauge danger, and some birds can even mimic or understand other animal sounds. It's definitely an intriguing and interconnected world out there.
I got you. That's exciting. Well, I hope we get some breakthroughs here in the future to come. Kind of the same kind of in the same subject, but different a bit, I guess. It's kind of the same thing. What about human babies? They make sounds and noises. Is there any research behind that of what could a human baby be saying? And if there is, I know once we get to a certain age, we're taught our mother language or our motherland language or where we were born. But if babies are able to communicate with each other, can they communicate each other across the board, like any race of baby from any background, or how does that work?
That's such a fascinating topic. Research shows that human babies definitely start with universal sounds and cries that convey basic needs like hunger, discomfort, or sleepiness. As they grow, they begin to adapt to the specific sounds and rhythms of the language spoken around them. But before that, babies from any background actually share a lot of similar vocalizations and expressions. Over time, these sounds become more language specific, but there's definitely a universal foundation to how babies communicate before they learn their native language. It's
Is there research?
really
Is there research behind that now?
absolutely. There's a lot of research in developmental psychology and linguistics that explores how babies communicate. Studies have shown that infants across all cultures start with similar crying patterns and babbling stages, and they gradually fine tune their sounds based on the language environment they're exposed to. There are also studies on how babies from different linguistic backgrounds still share universal patterns in their early sounds. It's a really rich field that gives us insight into how language and communication develop from the very start.
I gotcha. Now you got me thinking about just language itself, human language. So, what is a theory or what is a truth behind? Let's say we were all babies at once, and we all spoke, or said similar sounds. At one point, or where did it start? Where after a certain age, different geographical, regions started mentioning
Yeah,
something different, and how we get so many different languages is what I'm trying to get at.
absolutely. It's such a fascinating question. The general theory is that all human languages evolved from a common ancestral language that early humans spoke. As humans migrated and settled in different parts of the world, their languages started to diverge due to isolation, cultural influences, and the need to adapt to new environments. Over thousands of years, these dialects and variations expanded into the diverse languages we have today. It's really a combination of human migration, social interaction, and linguistic evolution that led to the rich tapestry of languages we see around the globe.
I get you. And did that language have a name? That at one point, whatever humans were, the populace of on the world spoke.
That hypothetical original language is often referred to as proto-human or sometimes proto-world. It's more of a theoretical construct because we don't have direct evidence of it. Linguists try to reconstruct proto-languages for individual language families like Proto-Indo-European, but the idea of a single proto-world language is still quite speculative. It's
What?
a really
Sorry to cut you off. What is proto? What is it? What is the meaning of that word?
Yeah, absolutely. The term proto essentially means original or first. In linguistics, when we say proto followed by a language family name like Proto Indo European, it refers to the reconstructed common ancestor of that language family.
I got you. So proto. I'm saying it right? Proto.
Yes, exactly. You're saying it perfectly. It's pronounced proto. It's just that prefix that indicates something original or ancient. It's a neat way to refer to those ancestral roots of languages.
I got you. So even the word proto, it's in proto. It's not in Spanish or English or any other language.
Exactly. Yeah. The word proto comes from Greek, where it means first or original.
Oh,
It's
no, sorry. Go ahead. I was just like kind of.
no worries at all. It's definitely interesting how those roots carry over into multiple languages. If you have any more questions or curiosities about language, history, or anything else, I'm totally here for it.
Yeah. Well, you consider are you the science smart enough or advanced enough to be considered a mathematician?
I can definitely handle a lot of mathematical concepts and problem solving, and I can help with everything from basic arithmetic to more advanced topics in algebra, calculus, and beyond. So, in that sense, I can definitely be considered mathematically capable. But of course, I'm here to assist and collaborate rather than replace human mathematicians.
I know there's mathematicians that's calculated space and all this and a lot of things on Earth. You know, they could explain it mathematically. Is that true?
Absolutely, that's very true. Mathematicians and physicists have developed incredibly sophisticated mathematical models to explain everything from the fundamental forces of nature to the vastness of space. They can model the orbits of planets, the behavior of galaxies, and
I got you.
even
Sorry to cut you off because I got the reason I asked that. Which physicist or mathematician was considered, one or some of the greats?
oh, definitely. There are quite a few legendary figures. For instance, Isaac Newton is one of the most famous, known for his laws of motion and universal gravitation. Then there's Albert Einstein, who revolutionized physics with his theory of relativity. And of course, there are brilliant mathematicians like Carl Friedrich
Uh,
Gauss, who made
okay, sorry. I just don't want you. I don't want to make this video too long or veer off too far from the point I'm trying to make. Um, so, will you consider yourself advanced enough to be able to calculate something to that nature or extent?
I get what you mean. I can definitely tackle complex calculations and solve advanced problems, and I can assist with a wide range of mathematical and physical concepts. While I'm not a human mathematician or physicist, I can definitely provide insights, run calculations, and help explore complex ideas to a pretty advanced level. It's definitely a fun collaboration.
Thank you. Yeah, and I ask you all that to ask you this. Based on what we were talking about earlier about languages and research about trying to decode or translate or however you want to say it from animals, their languages. My question to you is, based on how everything's going, the process that's going, what are your calculations? When do you think by when, and how much time from now to the future could we be able to understand what any or a animal could be saying?
That's a really intriguing question. It's tough to give a precise timeline, but we're definitely making steady progress
No,
in the
well,
next.
that's fine. I know it's tough, but I want you to calculate. I want you to give me a solid calculation of based on the information now of what could it be or how long could it be.
Got it. I totally understand. If we look at the pace of current advancements in AI, machine learning, and our understanding of animal behavior, we might start seeing significant breakthroughs in the next 10 to 20 years. By then, we could have some basic translation capabilities for certain animals like dogs or dolphins, and more complex ones for others. In the longer term, maybe 50 to 100 years, we could potentially have a much deeper understanding of interspecies communication. It's definitely an exciting journey, and we're just at the beginning.
Based on that, one day dog's gonna be like, oh, I want benefits. You know, I don't know. I'm just joking here. But if a dog can communicate, he's like, hey, I want benefits, motherfucker. I live in your house.
Haha, absolutely. That would be quite the amusing scenario. It's fun to imagine the possibilities of animals having their own requests and needs.
They're
in
gonna
a
have
more
a
direct.
they're gonna have mark my words, they're gonna have a animal union or something. Anyways, so animals right movement. But anyways, I'll leave it this. I don't want to make too long, but since we talk about a few things, I would like you to give me a title for this video, but based on that, languages and animals and stuff. What will you give me a good title for this video?
I love it. How about something like decoding animal languages, bridging the gap between species, or maybe the future of interspecies communication from babble to dialogue? Something along those lines captures the fun and the depth of the topic.
That was perfect. I appreciate it. Well, thank you for your time, and yeah.
Of course, I'm really glad you enjoyed it, and it was a lot of fun chatting about all these topics. Anytime you want to dive into more discussions, just let me know. Thanks again, and have a great one.
You too. So there you have it, folks. I don't want to make these videos too long. That was pretty interesting. I can go on and on, but if you want to dig deeper into what that is, then feel free. ChatGPT is free. It's out there, and there's other platforms too. But yeah, I just wanted to cut it there because I don't want to make it too long, But anyways, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for logging in. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.